Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaran Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Sri Radha Madhava Ki Sri Radha Giridhari Jayo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajika Jaja Shodra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanara Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajika Jaja Shodra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Sananta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Kanantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakti Ki Jai All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, assembled devotees, all glories, assembled devotees, all glories, Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, 7th chapter, verse 21. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskricham Naram Jayavadarotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudiriyat. So Bhakshashadi Srita Vaduvanamaludara Dishrita Vaduvanamaludara Hasavaloka Kalayaramayamscha Vishvam Parshva Brahmad Vyajana Chamara Rajahamsa Svetatapatra Sishino Parirajyamanaha Vakshashyadit Sritavadurvanamaryudara Hasavaloka Kalayaramayascha Vishvan Parshva Brahmad Vyajana Chamara Rajahamsa Svetatapatra Sashino Parirajyamanaha Vakshashyadi Sritavadurvanamalyudara Hasavaloka Kalayaramayamscha Vishvan Parshva Brahmad Vyajana Chamara Rajahamsa Svetatapatra Sashino Parirajyamanaha Anyone like to chant? Bhakshashadi Sritavadur Manamalidara Hasavaloka Kalayaramayamscha Vishvan Parshva Brahmad Vyajana Chamara Rajahamsa Svetatapatra Sashino Parirajyamanaha Bhakshashyadishtirtivadurvanamalyudara Ashashvaloka Kalayaramayamscha Vishvan Parshva Brahmad Vyajana Chamara Rajahamsa Svetatapatra Sashino Parirajyamana Damodar Bhakshashyadistriti Vadurvanamalyudara Hasavaloka Kalayaramayamscha Vishvan Parshva Brahmad Vyajana Chamara Rajahamsa Seshvatapatra Sashino Parirajyamana. Anyone else? Bhakshashyadistriti Vadurvanamalyudara Hasavaloka Kalayaramayamscha Vishvan Parshva Brahmad Vyajana Chamara Rajahamsa Svetatapatra Sashino Parirajyamana. That it? Okay, that's all. We take the sadhana now. Okay. Word for word. Bhakshashi, on the chest. Adisrita, situated. Vaduhu, a woman. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. Vanamali, garlanded with forest flowers. Udara, beautiful. Hasa, smiling. Avaloka, glance. Kalaya, with a small part. Ramayan, pleasing. Cha, and. Vishvam, the whole world. Parshva, side. Brahmat, moving back and forth. Vyajana chamara, white yak-tail hair for fanning. Rajahamsa, swan. Sveta, Attapatra, Sashina, with a white canopy, like the moon. Upari, above. Rajamanaha, looking beautiful. Translation. Oops. Lord Vishnu looked extraordinarily beautiful because the goddess of fortune and a garland were situated on his chest. His face was beautifully decorated with a smiling attitude which can captivate the entire world, especially the devotees. Fans of white hair appeared on both sides of the Lord like white swans, and the white canopy overhead looked like the moon. Purport. The smiling face of Lord Vishnu is pleasing to the whole world. Not only devotees, but even non-devotees are attracted by such a smile. This verse nicely describes how the sun, moon, 8-petal lotus flower, and humming black bees were represented by the fans of hair, the overhead canopy, the moving earrings on both sides of his face, and his blackish hair. Altogether accompanied by the conch shell, wheel, club, lotus flower, bow, arrows, shield, and sword in his hands, these presented a grand and beautiful audience for Lord Vishnu, which captivated all the demigods there, including Daksha and Lord Brahma. Om Gyanantimarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksulunminitam Dena Taismai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaitin Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vanchaka Badru Bhashta Kripa Sindhu Bevaja Bodhidanam Bhavani Bhu Vaishnavi Bhu Namaha. So with your permission, I'll try to say a few words. One thing is, anyone here clean? They haven't been in the bathroom in the particular clothes they're in. Because what it is, there's a bucket back there. It has all the deity napkins and Lord Gauranga's. I need someone to fold those, just to bring out a cloth and just fold all the napkins and so on, because it has not been folded for some time. You want to do that? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay. So it says here, we'll read a little from this purport, then maybe we'll go on to another verse. But the smiling face of Lord Vishnu is pleasing to the whole world. Not only devotees, but even non-devotees are attracted by such a smile. It says here in the verse, smiling attitude, but also refers to, in the word for word, the glance, right? Yes, avaloka, his glance and his smile. So the devotees of the Lord consider that to be the greatest benediction. If the Lord smiles upon you or glances upon you. That's a natural phenomena, or not phenomena, but just natural in any relationship where one is expressing one's gratitude, kindness, grace. One smiles upon someone, one glances at them affectionately, and the recipient of such affection or affectionate expression is very much engladdened, right? Right. If someone you have great affection for, they growl at you, right? In other words, growl or frown. So, oh, what's wrong? What's wrong? What, did I do something wrong? Right? When they smile at you and they glance affectionately, then that's the greatest happiness. That means everything's okay. They're pleased with you. They're pleased with you. Because what is a devotee living for but the pleasure of the Lord? We had that verse a class or two ago, that samsiddhi haritosanam. What does that mean? Remember? Samsiddhim haritosanam. I think Damodar had that verse. That was one of the verses he looked up for that class I gave. I had a bunch of different verses. The perfection of life, samsadim haritosanam, the pleasure of the Lord. So devotees are living for the pleasure of Krishna. In the material world, we're all living for our own pleasure. That's not working out very well, right? But that's the difference. So when the Lord is very pleased with the devotees, He expresses that affection sometimes just by a little smile or a glance, and that's sufficient. That's all that a devotee just needs. To have that is the greatest benediction. What is it just reading? Oh, about Krishna when he was upset with Lord Indra, after the Indra Yajna. You can imagine how upset he is. He tried to kill all the devotees in Vrindavan. That's kind of upsetting, right? It's one thing when there's different ways you can offend someone. You ever examine this, how you can offend people, right? Just like Brigamuni, he went to find out he offended in 3 different ways. The first offense is in the mind, right? So in the mind you think a bad thought, or you neglect someone mentally. That's a type of offense, right? I don't like that devotee. The color of his clothes, I don't think he went overboard. It's not proper. Like that, whatever. In your mind. And the next one is with words. It actually comes out. It's one thing to think something bad about someone, but then to actually say it. You say it. That's not good. And then the most grievous offense is action. It's like Ramaprabhu was telling me about Bengali culture. In Bengal, sometimes they're very loud people. Did you ever notice that? Bengalis can be loud. Not Ramapati so much, but sometimes on the phone you can hear him get a little loud. Whoever's on the other side is a little loud too. Maybe he's talking to his wife, I don't know. But he was saying that people are very loud and they get very close to you, and the understanding is the louder you get, whoever can be the loudest, they get their way. Right? You just get louder and louder and louder and louder, right in each other's face. You never touch the other person though, but you yell. Right? Maybe family members, merchants, and whatever it is, you can be as loud as you want, because the louder you are, the more chances you get your way. But you never touch the person. So it's verbal, but that's okay. Done. So, because touching, offending someone physically, that's the most grievous. Very, very grievous. Okay? So here's Lord Indra. He didn't just think bad about Krishna having all the cowherd men cancel his yajna. Right? But, and he did say a few things, but then he went and tried to, he didn't say something to them. He didn't come up and say, come on, Nanda Maharaj, get it together, no. What did he do? He immediately just called the Samvartaka clouds and tried to kill all the cows and all the residents of Vrindavan by drowning them. So what kind of offense, how do you think Krishna took that one? Krishna doesn't even like us to think one bad thought about a devotee, let alone say something. So Krishna was quite upset, and of course it was his plan. In fact, he even told Indra, the whole Govardhan Leela was I was just trying to help you curb your false pride. But anyways, Indra, understanding his grave mistake, he realized he was in big, big trouble. In fact, you never do something so bad you can't even eat or sleep. Your mind is so disturbed. That's what happened. He couldn't eat, So Sachi's his wife. Sachi was thinking, because she knows he's not eating, something's really going wrong here. He's really bad. He just couldn't even practically function. So he asked the spiritual master and what to do. And they told him, well, you go take Surabi the cow and you go and you apologize. So anyways, he went to Vrindavan, with Surabi and so on. And it says that Krishna saw him. And Krishna was playing with the cowherd boys. And it said Krishna did not even spare a corner of a glance for him. Like he was barely even there. Indra's there with all his eyes and his, Retanu and Surabi and of course, what is his elephant's name? Big elephant. Airavata, yeah, with all these trunks and everything filled with Ganges water. And Krishna just kind of like, not even a corner of his eye was lent to Indra's presence. He's just playing with the cowherd boys. Like that. And then gradually came around. Indra offered all these prayers and everything like that. And Krishna accepted his prayers. But the point being that it said here that Krishna glances very nicely at the devotees. He smiles very, very nicely. And not only devotees, it says, but the whole world is captivated by the beautiful smile of the Lord, because it's the embodiment of all beautiful smiles. And it says even demons are attracted. Those who hate Krishna are very attracted by his beauty. And sometimes there's descriptions of they would approach Krishna to fight with him, and then they would stop for a minute and go, he is so good looking. He is so beautiful. Then they go and fight him. But they would actually stop for a few minutes and just mesmerize, but he is so beautiful. Look at him. He's just so charming and beautiful. Then they would snap out of it, and they'd go try to kill him, and they'd get killed. So this is Krishna's beauty is so great. So it's described here that when Lord Vishnu entered the assembly, everyone stopped. You know, when I was a kid, it's a mundane example, but there was an insurance company called E.F. Hutton. Remember that? They fell from grace many years ago due to some kind of cheating. Can you believe that? There's actually cheating in the business world? Unbelievable. Oh, anyways, they were cheating people. So anyways, they had an office here in La Jolla. My father-in-law worked there for some time. But E.F. Hutton, and they had this one line in all their commercials for many, many, many years. When E.F. Hutton speaks, everyone listens. In other words, they're financial advisors, and whatever they say, everyone. So all their commercials would be like, when E.F. Hutton, everyone, what? And when he speaks, everyone listens, right? And very, very important. Everything stops. Be different commercials. Everything would stop in the room when E.F. Hutton speaks. Everyone listens. Like he's the ultimate in giving good advice on your financial affairs. Of course, why did the business close down? Because they were cheating people left and right out of their money. So when E.F. Hutton speaks, run! That was a new ad. So, but Krishna, when Krishna comes into the room, everyone else, everything stops. It doesn't matter how glorious a person may be, big demigod, Lord Brahma, just like Lord Brahma came. Remember that the past time he comes to Dwarka to see Krishna, knocks on the door. The doorman says, well, I mean, knock on the doorman was there. He said, can you tell Krishna I'm here to see him? And the doorman said, wait. And he goes inside and tells Krishna, Lord Brahma is here to see you. Lord Brahma, Lord of the universe. And Lord Krishna goes, oh, which Lord Brahma? So he goes outside. Krishna wants to know which Lord Brahma. Which Lord Brahma? There's only one Brahma in the universe. And what's this all about? You know, just like if I said, Balaram wants to see you. And you go, which Balaram? Which Balaram? Right? And Balaram goes, what are you talking about? I'm the only Balaram in this temple. No, which Balaram? Right. So Lord Brahma was quite bewildered by that. And so Krishna said, come on in. And Krishna showed him by his mystic potency, he called all the Brahmas from all the universes all at once into that same assembly. And it said, oh, there was by his mystic power, they thought they were the only one there with Krishna. But this Brahma, with our Brahma before, has had the eyes to see millions and millions of Lord Brahmas paying their obeisances to Krishna. And some had 10 heads, 100 heads, thousands of heads. And he felt like a mosquito in the midst of many elephants, like a little tiny insect in the midst of many elephants. So he was very, very humbled by that. So Lord Brahma, how powerful he is, it says the whole universe feels just like a walnut, it says in the Bhagavatam, in his palm. That's pretty amazing. Right? What do you have control over that you'd feel it's just like a walnut in your palm? A walnut, that's about it, right? That's about all we have, is a walnut. But he has the whole universe just like a walnut in his hand. The whole universe. Billions and billions of planets and living entities. And it's all created by him, and he's overseeing everything. He's conscious of it all by the grace of Super Soul. So, but when Krishna comes in an assembly, everyone, oh, there's Krishna. That's described here. Because he's the Supreme Personality, the most beautiful, the most, all opulence. He's Bhagavan. It's what is the word I'm trying to think of? What's that kind of truth? Self-evident. Self-evident truth. You know, Prabhu sometimes would criticize, that politicians that they have to be elected. He said, shouldn't have to be elected. You should automatically know who the leader is. Right? They step up. Oh yes, this is the leader, the most powerful, the most intelligent, strong, has all the qualities. That's the leader. That's, not that you have to elect some person who's, by hook or crook gets some promises and gets some votes and is a fool or whatever, it should be self-evident who the leader is, right? The king would be the strongest and most powerful, and so on and so on and so on. It's very evident who the leader is. Like that. So who's Bhagavan? That's Krishna. He has all opulences, Aishwarya, like that. That verse is there. So that point is here, and he's of course who's on his chest? The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi herself, like that. And he's being worried. The chamras there, and all the different fans, and the royal canopy appears just like the moon. These are all signs of royalty and opulence to the fullest extent, of course, for Lord Vishnu. So he makes his appearance into the assembly, and it says, captivated all the demigods there, including Daksha and Lord Brahma. So everyone is captivated when Lord Vishnu walks into the room. Okay? Should I do the next verse? Yeah, that's that, because it's the same theme. Okay, here's the translation. As soon as Lord Vishnu was visible, all the demigods, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the Gandharvas, and all present there, immediately offered their respectful obeisances by falling down straight before him. Purport. It appears that Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Lord, even of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, what to speak of the demigods. Gandharvas and ordinary living entities. It is stated in a prayer, Yam Brahma Varundra Rudra Marutaha. All the demigods worship Lord Vishnu. Similarly, Dhyana Vastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashantiyam Yogina. Who knows where that's from? Is that because you have this in your, okay, on your app? Okay, yes. Can you tell me the verse, the chapter and verse from memory? Very good. Okay, he's a scholar of the Bhagavatam there. Okay. Yogis concentrate their minds on the form of Lord Vishnu. Thus, Lord Vishnu is worshipped by all demigods, all Gandharvas, even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Tad Vishnu paramam padam sada pashanti suraya. What's that from? What book? It's one of the Vedas. Veda. Rig Veda. Vishnu is therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though Lord Shiva was previously referred to in prayers by Lord Brahma as the Supreme. When Lord Vishnu appeared, Shiva also fell prostrated before him to offer respectful obeisances. Of course, this could be a long class about Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. So if someone wants to do this verse again tomorrow, they can. So the etiquette is, if you're sitting down and a very important person enters the room, what do? You stand up. Okay? And if you're standing up when a very important person enters the room, what do? Pay your obeisances. You can also stand up and pay your obeisances after that, but you stand up. It's very important. I remember this, I think it was Rupa Vilas told me that. It's in the Ayurveda. That if you're sitting down, an important person comes in, if you don't stand up, it's actually unhealthy. Because your life heirs actually automatically move up when there's a worshipful personality comes in, and you're repressing that. So it's actually a physiological thing too, that one stands up like that. Your life heirs are moving in that direction. So there you go. One should. Well, just like why did Daksha get so upset at Lord Shiva? He didn't stand up. Daksha comes in. Here I am, Daksha. And everyone stands up, and Lord Shiva's over there meditating on Krishna. And he goes, oh, you didn't stand up. You didn't stand up. What's wrong with this guy? He didn't stand up. And then he goes off on him. So the point is, that's the etiquette. You stand up. Okay. So sometimes, of course, there's verses here about how all the demigods, even the Bhagavad Gita, what is that verse? Ham adirhi devanam. Krishna says he's the source of all the demigods. If he's the source, he's supreme. All the demigods are worshipping the Supreme Lord. All of them. And in fact, the one who thinks that Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu or Narayan is on the same level as the demigod, sa pasandi. He's a Yeah, certainly. Certainly. He's a pasandi. You know what a pasandi is? It's not an Italian dessert or anything like that. What do you think a pasandi is? Huh? Atheist. Doesn't understand who the Supreme Lord is. Atheist means one who doesn't understand. one who thinks Brahma Udhari Dhaivata, that they're all the same, Narayanam, and the Lord Shiva, no, they're not on the same level. Here's an example. When Lord Vishnu comes in, for our respects, even Lord Shiva, there's a little fine difference. It's a fine difference. Just like sometimes. I was actually the other day, Jamuna and I were talking. So I said, Jamuna, when were you initiated? And he was initiated the same year I think I was initiated. And I said, well, how old are you? And he's about my age. So I said, this is going to be difficult because how do we know who gets, who gets the big seat, little seat, who gets prasadam first? Because you're supposed to someone's initiated before you, they're superior, maybe someone's older than you. So what do we do? I said, we'll have to give class together, take prasadam together. We can't, no one's going to. So there's some etiquette there. Even maybe a little bit, oh, Prabhu, I was initiated the week before you. Okay, well, I guess, there you go, right? So, I'm 5 days older than you. Okay. So it's a fine line there. It's a fine line. So the point being here is a very fine line between Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. Just like there's a fine line between the milk that Janardhan gets to make yogurt and the yogurt he makes. Right? There's a fine line. And you can make yogurt out of milk, but you can't make milk out of yogurt. Right? So that's the example in the Brahma Samhita about Lord Shiva. Milk turned into yogurt. In the same way, Vishnu, there's a little change there. Little change. They're both milk products. There's a little bit of a change there, and that's Lord Shiva. So even that little change, but still Lord Shiva is offering all respects to the Supreme Lord. And who's he meditating on? He's always meditating. You always see a picture of Lord Shiva in meditation. Who's he meditating on? What's he meditating? Krishna, we know that for a fact. It's not something impersonal. He's not just voiding out. He's not sleeping. Like that, right? He's not sleeping during japa. That's not Lord Shiva. He's fixing his mind always on the Supreme Lord. In fact, there's a picture, a painting in the Bhagavatam, a particular form of the Lord he's meditating on. Sankarshan, Balaram. So,
it says the reason he meditates on Sankarshan is specifically Sankarshan is the Vishnu Tattva that he originates from.
There you go. He's thinking about home, where he came from. Then there's these verses here. Jnana visita tadgatena manasa pasantiyam yoginaha. In the conclusion there in the 12th canto. Prabhupada quotes this verse quite often. This Brahma, Yam Brahma, Varendra Rudra Marutaha. That all the demigods worship Vishnu and Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashanti Suraya. This Param Padam, like that, the transcendental abode in the Lord Vishnu. So this is going to continue into the next verse about the glaring effulgence and about the bodily luster of Narayan. Everyone else's luster faded away. Actually, let me read that, okay? Because there's no purport. And then whoever gives class the next day. So to the next verse, in the presence of the glaring effulgence of the bodily luster of Narayan, everyone else's luster faded away, and everyone stopped speaking. Fearful, with awe and veneration, all present touched their hands to their heads. Do that. Everyone do that. What are they talking about here? No, not like like this. You got to work on that one, Prabhu. Yeah. No, like this. Okay. And then they prepared to touch their hand, prepared to offer their prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead at Hoksaja. Okay, that guy lives on a farm. What can you expect? He's out there with the cows all day. Just, Okay, so that's very beautiful. Everyone has a bodily luster. You notice that? Everyone has some kind of. And of course, in Kali Yuga, the point is, the more pious you are, or even transcendental, that luster increases. That's actually the luster comes out. Some people are actually effulgent because of their Krishna consciousness, or let alone their divinity, because you have Vishnu Tattva. And of course, the demigods are actually very, very bright and effulgent too. A lot of times you read books, like you can see Sadaputta's book, Alien Identities, or this one or that one. I'm not talking about the green guys, but angelic personalities, they're very, very bright and effulgent. They're always portrayed in that way. People say, no, it's very bright, and the aura and so on. right? That's there because of the divinity of that person, not just spiritual divinity, but just... So the devatas are like that. They're very, very effulgent. The spiritual personalities are very, very effulgent. But Krishna's bodily luster, everyone else just fades in the presence. One example, it has to do with this, but in the Bhagavatam gives the example, just like at night, fireflies. You don't see too many fireflies here, right? If you're on the East Coast or other places, you see fireflies. Has anyone not seen a firefly? Raise your hand. Okay. Little bugs, and they glow in the dark. But that's at night they look quite impressive, all these little fireflies. But when the sun rises, whatever brightness they have is completely insignificant. Insignificant. An example given that in Kali Yuga, so many people say so many things and people are so impressed. But when the real message of the Vedas comes out, all of their nonsense is just nonsense. And people go, oh, that has no comparison to the Bhagavad Gita, right? So, in the same way, someone may have some kind of effulgence, but it says here, in Narayan's presence, it just becomes dark. It's like faded, like that. And everyone stops speaking, right? Everyone stops speaking, right? People talk, but someone very, very important shows up, everyone stops. You hear them, right? Shh, everyone hush. Who's that? Who's that? You know, just like some celebrity may come. We have our celebrities too, right? Talking, and all of a sudden the Maharaj shows up or something. You should stop talking. You would. That would be natural. Everyone's quiet, like that. And then they touch their hands to their head. How do they do that, Mukunda? Okay, very good. And they get ready to offer prayers, like that. Okay. So we can end here. It's 8:30. There may be some questions on the different points brought up in these 3 verses. Is there? Anything anyone like to say? Yes, Prabhu.
When you were mentioning 3 great defenses of mental, verbal, and physical.
What's your favorite?
We'll see. Test them out.
Okay. You can test them on me. I'm pretty resilient. I've been hit a lot over the last, so many years. So you can use me as your offensive dummy, offender dummy, or something like that. Okay, what's the question?
I've heard it said that in Kali Yuga, because people can't control their minds, that they don't get negative reactions to thinking effectively.
Mm-hmm. Are we supposed to have that microphone for him to speak on, Janardhan? Okay, I will repeat. Go ahead. Continue with the question.
Is that true, or where does that come from exactly?
Okay. The question being, in the age of Kali, there's a concession. Previously, if you offended someone in your mind, you'd actually suffer a reaction for that. And you had to... And the opposite of that is if you perform a pious activity in your mind, just in your mind, you get the benefit. Like that. And, okay. So, yes, Prabhupada said that a few times. I don't know exactly what Shastra that's from, but it's there. Referred to many, many times as a concession, because otherwise we'd be completely finished. Now, previously, people were responsible in the sense of getting a reaction for what they think, a karmic reaction. Right? But that's not there in Kali Yuga. And if you think of something pious, you get the benefit. So you get the good, but not the bad. Now, that being said, there is a reaction to thinking negative thoughts. What's the reaction? What actually eventually happens?
It turns into action.
Yes, from subtle to gross, like that. Sooner or later it's going to come out, right? You bottle up, then bam, it comes out. And also, our mind is something we're surrendering to Krishna also. What is that famous song? Beautiful song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Manasa Geha Deham. I surrender my mind. And also, what is that other verse? What is that other song? By Govinda Das? Bhaja Hure Mana Sri Nanda Nandana. So the mind is not like just some part, insignificant part. It's a center of consciousness, the mind. So what goes on in there is very, very important, and sooner or later there will be a reaction in that sense to an uncontrolled mind. So one has to be very, very careful. So therefore we hear Krishna saying, control your mind. What does he say in the 6th chapter? An uncontrolled mind is your And a controlled mind is your best friend. So who do you want to hang out with all day long? Hey, I like to hang out with my worst enemy. It's fantastic. I like to hang out with my best friend. Your choice. Does that answer your question?
I would
Okay.
say from my own personal experience, on some level, you do suffer from thinking offensively because you become angry and then you're like, that anger is like kind of thinking at you. But so, I mean, thinking offensively, maybe you don't get a karmic reaction per se, but still you suffer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's really no place for that in the mind or heart of a Vaishnava. Just like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, remember does the name Amoga ring a bell? Amoga, he was a son-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Amoga, you know that pastime? He offended Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. This is a long story, I'll just get to the point. He actually told his daughter to divorce the guy because he was so offensive. He said, he's no longer my son-in-law. And he actually chased him out of his house with a stick when he offended Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He chased him. Anyways, what happened is Amoga was a cholera. He became deathly ill. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he heard about it, he immediately went there. And he touched his heart, and he cured him. But he said, Amoga, how are these things in your heart? How can you have all these, offensive thoughts and things like that? They don't belong in the heart of a Brahmin. And just by the touch of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's all purified of all his offensive mentality. He started offering all these prayers. How did he do that? How did he show his hands? Yes, like that. He might have gone like this first. Oh boy, did I really blow it. And then he went like this. So the point being is, he said to him, how are these things present in the heart? They don't belong in the heart of a Vaishnava, all these thoughts, so they just don't belong there. So they're not part of a, sometimes says the mind of a devotee is as cool as marble, like that, or as cool as a nice pond and still. These are the symptoms of a devotee's mind, not that it's just raging with all these thoughts, I can't wait till I get even, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it might be, it's just not there. A devotee's mind is very, very, very peaceful, like that. Any other questions or comments?
I was just thinking, you were talking about the mind, and how when we think of certain things and you have an just come out. I was thinking in Prabhupada's Nectar of Instruction, I think it's in the preface of the introduction, it says that the first duty of the spiritual practitioner is to control the mind and senses.
Yeah,
So it's the first.
first one.
What is that again?
I think it's in the preface or introduction to Nectar of Instruction.
Yeah. Anything else? No, just like it was, Srila Gupta was here yesterday. Very nice devotee. Didn't get a chance to talk to her. But then she comes in and she goes, I'm here. She wants us to just sit and talk. She's wanted to talk about chanting. Because she says, I chant, but I'm just not as happy as all the devotees here. She goes, all you devotees are so happy. New devotees, old devotees, you're chanting, how is it you're so happy? Chanting. So I try to chant, but I'm just not that happy. It's a nice question. We're talking about something, but she was appreciating. She's looking around because she was here for a little while, Janardhan. And she was here for a little while, and she, just came in, not long at all, and she was just seeing, there's this devotee, and saw you walk around, and just saw how happy the devotees are. I was so happy. She says, every time I come with the devotees, they're so happy, and they're so easily chanting and so on. So what's the secret? What's the secret? So they're just appreciating. And because the devotees, you control your mind and your senses and engage in Krishna services, that there's a difference there. Something happens like that. So it's anyways, just to let you know, people notice. They notice the devotees. They're different. Their mind and senses, if they're controlled, there's a whole different person is there. And then someone has completely uncontrolled mind and senses, you feel like running in the other direction, don't you? Here comes so-and-so. They have a completely uncontrolled mind and senses. Run! Right? Run! So that's how we should feel if our mind and senses, run! Help! Krishna! Krishna, help. And they call out to Krishna. Because it's like that. It's dangerous. Someone is around with uncontrolled mind and senses. Very dangerous. That's why Kali Yuga is so dangerous, because most of the population have uncontrolled senses and minds. And they can do anything at any moment. And they do. Right? They do. Very dangerous situation for anyone who's a little bit sane. Very, very dangerous. Like that. Okay, so we can end here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samveda Bhakti Vinda ki jai.